Hi there, everybody. I'm Stacy Carter, and thank you all so much for joining us on our first Coffee and Conversation. Please take a minute and mute yourself so that we can drown out the background noise, and then we will get started with our presentation. And in the end, I will unmute everybody and we can ask questions. But again, welcome everybody, and I appreciate you joining.
I'm Mary Cohron. Good morning. It's great to have you here this morning. Stacy and I are the managing partners of Pathway Senior Care Advisors. You know, in a perfect world, everybody would have a pathway plan, but like we're going to be talking about today and in future sessions. But at this point in time, people come to us, they need help caring for themselves, or help. They know that a loved one needs help caring for themselves. And so we help them find the right kind of care, the kind of care they need and they want. We use a non-medical assessment to do that. That assessment, we had a lot of input from all of the in-home care companies, the assisted living and memory care companies that we deal with. And so at the end of the assessment, we pretty much know what they need and which types of care are best for them. And then we determine what they can afford, because we don't want to send them somewhere or bring in an in-home care provider that they can't afford. So that's what we do at Pathways.
Thank you, Mary. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all so that you can see a few slides. So bear with me just a second. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we decided again to host these planning sessions. Hold on just a second. There we go. And we've titled this "Preparing for All the Transition Stages of Your Life in the Context of the New Normal," because during the 3 years that we have been that we have owned Pathway Senior Care Advisors, we've met with so many people that did not have a plan for the later stages in life. So they didn't have a financial plan. They didn't have, a plan for, do I want to go to assisted living? Do I want to stay in my home? They didn't have wills prepared, none of those kind of things. So we've tried to encompass all of this in these sessions. And then now COVID-19 has hit us, and we've come to realize that even if you had a plan, now that plan may need to be changed somewhat just to deal with what we're calling this new normal. Because, I mean, who knew that we were going to get hit with a worldwide pandemic? That was just kind of a shock to all of us. So hopefully some of these sessions will help you.
Stacy and I have worked really hard to become experts on all the different types of care, the cost of that care in this region. We know what we know, and we know it well, but we know what we don't know. And so we've reached out to other experts in different fields that provide services and advice to seniors and to clients of ours at all ages. So it's hopefully going to give you a great experience when you deal with Pathways.
Well, peace of mind tomorrow. That's what we are trying to focus on to make this less stressful for everybody. So we're going to talk about how we can encompass all this together and get started. And some of the things that we will discuss are what we need to live the lifestyle we want to live, what we will have. Will we have any shortfalls? Sure. We can all say what we want to have, and then we can plan around that and plan for things to happen during that during that time period. What strategies are we going to take, and what actions are we going to take to determine all these factors?
Planning is the key. A pathways plan will help you clarify your goals. It will help you develop strategies to achieve those goals. It will identify the steps to implement those strategies and identify the resources that you need to meet the strategies.
And at Pathways, we are the planning consultants, but we take a team approach to this because, as I said earlier, there's so many different dynamics in this that we want to get you to the proper, appropriate expert in each category. So, for example, if someone wants to go into an assisted living facility and that's their goal, then we're going to take that and build the plan around that goal so that that can be accomplished. And so this is a plan that maps out the entire client's life. If it's an adult child that's working on this with their parents, we suggest that the adult child be involved in this so they will know what's going on. If something happens to that parent and they can't tell them what they want, it's just very good that everybody be on the same page with this and have those conversations with each other amongst the family.
Yeah, and the first thing in the planning process is goal setting. It's very, very important. But depending on where you are in your life, if you're young, you certainly want to dream some. But goals should be realistic and they should be attainable. We hope it's not too late. We've had some people come to us that had waited so long that it was too late to really make any dramatic changes in the plan that they have. You need to know, communicate your goals to your spouse and know that you all are in agreement, because it will take both of you to implement the goals. The categories of goals, needs, wants, and wishes, those dreams. So the first thing we'll do if you come to Pathways to get a Pathways plan is work on goals. So that's something you can be thinking about. One of the things about goals is they can change. You may have events in your life that cause you to have to relook at everything. Certainly the COVID-19 has made all of us take a look at where we are in life and what we need to think about and how our goals may have changed. But there are other life-changing events, even normal times. So your goals can change and your plan can change over time. Thank you.
Mary, let's talk about the elements of the Pathways plan. Let's talk about the benchmark for all the transition stages.
That's in the planning process. We'll look at, depending on where you are, what stage you're in, what the next benchmark is. Is it you have to make the Social Security decision? That's a big decision. You can make a decision that will impact the amount of money that you get from Social Security for the rest of your life. If you're in the retirement planning stage and you're looking at being eligible for Medicare, you need to know. So those big benchmarks we will identify, and that'll be mapped out in your plan, so you won't unexpectedly find out you've forgotten to do something or didn't know to do something that was really important to you in terms of having that good, safe, and happy life we talk about at Pathways all the time.
And I was also, as Mary was saying earlier in the presentation about your senior living options, that's our expertise. And again, we can help you determine, do you want in-home care? Do you want independent living, assisted living, memory care? So those elements will be in there as well, as she discussed earlier. And basically we'll let you know what other resources are needed, and you'll figure that out as we go through these different presentations of where you need to go next. Just want to tell you that, again, we're having more of these conversations. The next one will be next Tuesday, July 21st, and it's going to be growing your asset stage. And that is going to be talking about savings, investing, and long-term care insurance with Don Bratcher of Bratcher Financial Services.
We really appreciate you being here today, and we hope you enjoyed this session and learned something from it. Look forward to seeing you in future sessions. And right now, we'll open it up for questions. Does anybody have a question? You'll have to unmute yourself to ask the question.
Unmute, thanks. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I was taking notes, and it was very clear and interesting, and especially the benchmarks for all the transitions. But my question is, though, when is it, or is it a good idea to start a conversation now, even though there may not be any crisis or real apparent need, but is it good to start?
That is a great question. And actually, we would prefer that, because it's so much easier to come up with a plan that is laid out rather than wait until you're in a crisis mode, because certainly it can be worked out. But if that crisis, say that crisis is that you have to go into a facility, well, the money might not be there, and you didn't know it because you didn't do the plans before. So now what are you going to do? So you don't have the right resources to do anything, and then things just don't go as planned, and everybody's a lot more stressed out. So we would prefer the earlier the better.
Absolutely. I mean, you all wouldn't believe how many people look at us and say, you mean Medicare doesn't pay for that? And it doesn't pay for a lot. So getting prepared early on is in our next session. You're going to be hearing about what you need to do, even as a pretty young person, how you need to plan financially to grow assets, so that when the day comes that you do need care as an older person, you'll have the money to do that. And he's also going to talk about long-term care insurance. That's something that we always love to hear, isn't it, Stacy, when somebody says, I have a long-term care policy.
Mm-hmm.
So because we know if they have that, then they're likely going to be able to afford the care they need. They may have to subsidize it some, but and that's, I guess, another thing relative to planning early. If the people that have come to us were thinking they had long-term care policies that they bought 30 years ago that say nursing home policy on them, because there weren't assisted livings and memory cares when they bought those policies. So they think it's going to pay for assisted living or in-home care, and it doesn't. And it's sad, because they've made all those payments all those years, and for not having what they thought they had. And if you plan ahead, then all those documents can be looked at. If you have a team of experts, they can bring their lawyer to the table to review if they already had a will and all of that. They need to be reviewed periodically and make sure that they're in sync with the times.
Great question. Thank you.
Gosh.
Anybody else?
Okay. Well, if we don't have any more questions, we'll end this today, and we hope to see you next Tuesday. Thank you, everybody.